In this demo, we will look at some of the advanced functions of the query builder, such as subqueries and unions. The full query will become quite complex, however it will still be much simpler than using other query tools. The final report is available from our website if you'd like to download it and use the query yourself. Starting with our basic instrument index report from the previous demo, we will add the specification sheet number, process data sheet number, calculation sheet number, hookup drawing number, and the first junction box that the instrument is connected to. The specification sheet number can be easily added by including the spec sheet data table in our query. We join on the component ID field and use the drawing name virtual field. We need to assign an alias, and we have the spec sheet number in our query. In a similar way, the process data sheet number can be added by using the PD general table, again joining on the component ID field. And selecting the drawing name virtual field, give it an alias and we're done. To include all instruments in our query, we need to use outer joins by double-clicking the joins and choosing Select All from the component table. Next, we need to add the hookup drawing number, and for this we will use a subquery, also known as a derived table in the query builder. Adding a derived table adds both a table to our query diagram, plus a new tab, which we can rename to something meaningful. Selecting the new tab gives us a blank query pane for us to design our subquery. We need to use the hookup component table and the hookup table, a simple join on HU ID, and include the component ID field so we can join to our main query. And the drawing name virtual field gives us the hookup drawing number. Back on our main query, we can see the hookup drawing name. Subquery shows the two selected fields. We just need a join in the component ID field and we're done. If we switch to the grid view, we can see the results of our query, the spec sheet number, process data sheet number, and hookup drawing number. Adding the calculation sheet number involves a few more steps, as the field we need appears in 4 different tables. Starting with a derived table, we need to construct a union query with first the flow table, the component ID field, and the drawing name virtual field. To create a union, we right-click the Q box in the top right corner. Select New Union Subquery, which creates a new blank query pane. In this pane, we add the control valve table. Select the same 2 fields and then create another union subquery. Repeat the process for the relief valve table. And then finally another union subquery for the temperature table. We now have 4 subqueries in our union, all returning the drawing name virtual field. We can switch between them using the Q boxes. Back to our main query, where the calc sheet derived table is shown with the 2 output fields in our union. Set the join and the alias, and our calculation sheet number is finished. The only field left to add now is the first junction box for each instrument, which needs another derived table. To find the first junction box, we can use the wire terminal table and limit our results to the first signal level. The panel name virtual field gives us the junction box name, but we need to find the signal sequence number for the first junction box. Another derived table can be used. With the wire terminal and panel table, we can filter by panel category sequence equal to 6, which limits the results to junction boxes. Group by this field and then find the minimum group sequence and give it an alias. We also need the wire group ID field for joining in the parent query, and our subquery is complete. In the junction box subquery, we can now add a couple of joins to limit our results to the minimum group sequence of each wire group. Our main query just needs an outer join and the panel name added to the output field with an alias, and our full query is complete. Our grid now shows the first junction box that each instrument is connected to. It's a bit easier to see if we drag this field next to the instrument name. So our query is now complete. It has 4 main subqueries shown as derived tables and tabs across the top of our screen. The query tree helps to understand our full query structure. And we can navigate to specific sections of the query, such as the subqueries within our union query, by clicking nodes in the query tree. The full written SQL statement is also available, and while it is relatively complex, it would have been much more complicated if we didn't have the power of virtual fields to help us. Of course, this statement could also be manually edited if you felt so inclined. The Instrument Index Advanced Query is complete and can be downloaded from the website if you'd like to use it yourself. In the next demo, we will be looking at some of the functions of the grid viewer.